Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to World This Morning. I am your host Hajra Sati and joining me is my wonderful co-host Ahmad Nawaz. Assalamu alaikum Ahmad and Juma Mubarak.
Walaikum assalam, Juma Mubarak to you and all our viewers of World This Morning and PTV World as well. What a blessed day Friday is always, you get to feel that spirit and that, holy essence that it is a Friday. And of course, we always say not just Friday, but do good deeds all around. So of course, we're definitely going to be starting with this message that you promote good deeds all around you. Just a smile is also Sadqa Jariyah, so spread positivity.
Yeah, it's a Sadqa Jariyah, but I think we need to be careful to whom we are giving smiles, right? I mean, it can backfire sometimes.
So smile, but responsibly.
Yes. So starting with, I was reading a Guardian, I came across this news of the Netflix, which is a very favorite streaming platform. So Netflix is, Ahmed, introducing a new plan called ads plan, because it's a more cheaper subscription plan, and it's introducing it in the 12 countries at the first stage, including US, UK, Australia. So basically there will be advertisements within or start of the show or the seasons, right?
That's not on. The one of the reasons why people were enjoying that platform was that it was uninterrupted streaming, right?
True.
So we don't want to go to that platform, but that's how the modern world is. And obviously half of the costing is going to come from advertisement, but you still have a choice. So, if you're an existing user, you don't have to convert immediately, but you still have on options of plans. And I think the cheapest one starts at $7 a month.
Right. And it's called basic with ads. So basically ads would be for 15 to 30 seconds long. And they have specifically asked there would be no political advertisements, no guns or violence advertisement. And of course, Netflix has a lot of audience, because a lot of, I think, rival streaming platforms coming up, and 65% of the market share they have lost. So that's why they are trying to catch or hold on to more audiences.
Yeah.
So that's why
it's very interesting that you mentioned this topic, because I came across a study which said that one of the major, movie industries in the world, which is of course across the border, has been losing viewership because people are switching to all of these streaming platforms.
Yes, and it has made our life very much easier, right?
Really?
Yes, I think so, because you can watch any movie on with one click of your remote or whatnot. So I think that's a lot more which is Netflix is giving to, especially in the time of the COVID. And we saw their profits were skyrocketing at that time, but now they're losing a lot of market, so they want to rope in a lot of people.
But we've got a secret. We're using one subscription for 4 people, so we can have always.
And that's not a secret. I think everyone is doing that, and I think 4 is quite a less
small number. Definitely, but that is the case. But let's start off with our daily dose of the top stories that we've got for you as well. Let's just share what is happening around the world, especially in Pakistan. So first of all, we have to talk about Sikha. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif made his address to the Sikha Forum as well, and he strongly favored peaceful coexistence and resolving conflicts. The Prime Minister also stressed the fact that the region of Central Asia possesses a lot of potential, and together we can have a shared future. And of course, he stressed, 2 very important things that the Prime Minister has been stressing on a global level, once again raised voice for at the Sikha Forum. One was the unresolved issue, the longest unresolved issue on the UN Charter of Jammu and Kashmir, Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and also the fact that the Palestinian conflict also needs to be resolved in a manner now which can be beneficial for the entire world. And he said that resolving conflicts with other countries, including neighboring India, in a bid to achieve goals of prosperity to the nations and the region.
Right. So moving on to another top story, which is about the Malala Fund, named after Pakistan's Nobel laureate. Malala Yousafzai has committed up to $700,000 to organization in Pakistan working to provide relief to the flood-affected people in Pakistan. Malala Fund investment includes direct funding to local partners and partnerships to support the flood relief.
Absolutely. Malala is in Pakistan. She's of course returned, and she's been visiting the flood affected areas as well. And we do know that she's a role model for everybody out there.
Right. So, Ahmed, we have seen that today, especially in the modern world, where there's a lot of digitalization going on, we have seen that people are very much into this race to earn a lot of money, especially in the Western societies, right? Because they're very overly capitalist societies. And in doing so, we feel materialistically they're doing wonderfully well. But I do feel that the anxiety, depression, stress, it is on the rise in so many societies across the world. And there is a lot of talk or the narrative around this and how to tackle that. And I do feel that the Western wellness models are collapsing. And that is why they are looking towards the East in the form of the mediation and the yoga, whatnot.
Whatnot. I think that's
right?
very important that Hajra
Right.
mentions this. A lot of our stress comes from
True.
the cricket we're watching. So just for all of you viewers, Pakistan has finally won against New Zealand in the final of the Tri-Series, so you can relax now. So that's
Right.
one stress managed. But I think
Right.
Hajra is right, because it's a digital age. And it's really competitive now. You know, every day people are trying to relate themselves with
True.
others, trying to put
True.
yourself in others' shoes, regardless of their experiences.
Social comparisons.
Absolutely. So it's very important not to do that, because
right.
if one is not satisfied with one's own self, how are you going to be satisfied with the things around you?
Right, right. And that is why I do feel, especially with the West, this system which is coming on, the system that they propose about divorcing religion from the politics, I think it is doing a lot of harm. And that is why we see a lot of stress out there, because I don't think so you can declutter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's existence permeates everything in this universe, in your environment, in your place, inside you. If you
Every soul is special.
Exactly, yes. Exactly. And that is why I do feel that we need to have a strong connection with that. But we have a very wonderful guest in the studio who is going to tell us how to de-stress ourselves, and also whether stress is always a very negative emotion, or sometimes can it be our mentor guiding us through the landmine of the emotions.
Absolutely.
So we are very lucky, Ahmad, that we have been joined by a wonderful guest who happens to be an educationist, a school leader, and also a teacher's trainer. So we have been joined by Miss Mussara Janzeb. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Walaikum assalam, Hajra. Thank you so much for calling me over. It's always lovely to be here on the show.
Well,
Wonderful.
good morning, and thank you for bringing this wonderful smile and positivity to the show today. But Hajra mentioned something very important. So first of all, our understanding of stress is somewhat delusional these days. Of course, everybody has it. It has its different types. So first of all, how can we relate to stress in these modern times, especially when we talk about our younger generation?
All right, Ahmed, this is a very interesting question. I mean, this gives me a chance to actually define stress, which I want. We all know the contributing factors in our life that are adding a lot of stress, and I mean, I would be better off talk about my students and my own educational sector, because we are no different from any other walk of life. So, but I mean, while you think what adds to your stress actually takes you away from the lot of self techniques that you can discover for yourself. So actually, I am working on self-care these days, and I am helping my children and teachers find ways that can, help them relieve stress. Okay, let's get back to what actually has the stress creeped like in our educational system. We do see students who are coming across, different situations, the added pressure of the grades, the academic competencies, and a lot of, added technology and the usage of social media has added stress to students' life. On the other hand, if you see professionals or working lives people, especially women, I mean, there is this added pressure of looking after their families as well, which you would not really see in any other culture, but in Pakistan especially, for working women, it's very important to be able to look after a lot of other fronts than their own profession. So this is, of course, the added stress. But I mean, the point here now is we got to somehow live through it, and we have to find ways that can make us feel better. So I think the most important thing that we all need to understand is we need to know ourselves. We need to know what makes us feel better. Okay, for students, I would not deny the fact that a lot of what can reduce the stress in the life of students is in the hands of probably the stakeholders. Maybe we need to redefine our educational system. We probably have to, in order to reduce the grades and the academic pressure, we have to look for the subject integration. We have to look for the project-based learning, which is a very real-life learning. And we have to work back more on 21st century skills that are all about collaboration and cooperation. Why do we see a great deal of competition all around? Because that's what we have taken up for ourselves. So in order to make the right choice for yourself and for the children you're responsible for as a stakeholder is very important. being an adult, I think it's very important to know your stressors, but you must look into the routine and the techniques that make you feel better. For example, I mean, we all have our stress management techniques,
Right.
and maybe talking to my friends would relieve my stress. Maybe I'm a kind of person who would do meditation and
Yeah, but
and
allow me to
Wonderful.
interrupt you because you know one of these factors that has just been
Right.
told, and obviously it's not there, and we talk about the fact that you know that sense of competition is happening. Why are we not? Hajra, do you also feel that as a society we've not, you know, we failed to teach our people how to coexist?
I think that's very much important, and one of the factor that I also mentioned into my introduction was the stress is on so much rise across it that we are focusing a lot on earning money, and this system is designed in a way that is forcing us to focus a lot on the capitalistic system. So the only value that is important is earning capital, right? I think men are more prone to such kind of pressure because they're all bread earners for their families, and I mean their families are also stressing them and asking them to earn a lot of money, and I mean wives or sometimes, you know, the matriarchs in the family are forcing them that, you know, they're just giving them bare minimum.
But I think
right?
that's the other way around as well, because at most of the times, and you know, being on that part of the male society and a society that obviously earns bread for your family,
Right.
I also feel that we tend to misinterpret the pressures that have been there for our women as well.
True,
And you know,
true.
we often relate it to such an extent that we say that, look, we're going out of the house, we're facing this,
Right.
working all day long while you're at home. But
Right.
at home is
Right.
another whole, you know,
True.
dimension that we've never understood.
Right, and another dimension that I would really want to talk about is, Ahmed, is the social media and how it is inducing a lot of stress into the society. So I mean, it's a debatable topic because I do feel a lot of time the people who are stressed out, they can form their own support groups on the social media and they can interact with one another. But then again, we hear this term which is very much common, the Instagrammable event, right? People are pouring so much money into it. So when I was in the university, we barely had Instagram. So when I graduated, then Instagram came into the scenario. And I do feel because of that social comparisons, because of that peer pressures, we are unnecessarily, I mean, engulfing ourselves into the cacophony of such sort of capitalistic ideas or the needs where we are confusing our wants and needs when it comes to that, right? And
So
that is
delusional, basically.
that's delusional, and I think that's very much important that you identify what is your want, what is your need, and where do you want to go. So I really wanted to ask you, where do we get this direction from that our students know or our younger generation knows that what is exactly that they do want?
Yeah, Hajar, that's a good question. Unfortunately, we don't have any curriculum that teaches children the real life skill, which is to be happy and know what can reduce your stress.
Right.
But I mean, all modern schools like the school I'm working, they actually do have the platforms and the provision where we take children through exercises that are very, very healthy,
Okay.
and give them a sense of accomplishment and reduce the stress. Like, I mean, we have like club activities. So one of my
Right.
club is purely yoga and meditation club.
Wonderful.
Now, meditation is a very important exercise, and we do not understand that unless we start looking inside and get connected with our true soul and our true creator,
Right.
we're not going to have this inner peace. So in order to have that awareness develop, we take children through real life meditation and yoga exercises. Then we have this another club where we have real life skills. So I mean, the other day I had a look at the activities. So it was such a interesting activity. Organizers had planned. They had taken children, through exercises where they were polishing their shoes, pressing their clothes. Now that
Wonderful.
reduces dependability. And it gives a real sense of accomplishment to the child when you're getting ready in the morning. You're not really looking forward to someone else helping you. So what I mean is that in our own routines, we have to find time for ourselves, and we have to actually promote all such activities in our school, even if they're not the part of the formal curriculum. They still can be part of the school routine, club activities, houses, assemblies, stuff, where you address this. One of the factors that I actually find very common when I talk to a lot of youngsters, because part of my job is student counseling as well, so I do talk to them, and I usually would want to know what is that's bothering them, what is at the core of it that, I'm looking at the surface problem. So children are not actually into a very fixed routine. They are somehow compromising the importance of the time. So they should be taught to have their self-disciplined routines established. They should be taught there is an importance of the time, and starting your day very early is a very real life thing that can save you from a lot of stress. Secondly, you talked about this Insta, and you talked about a lot of socializing that we do on social media.
True.
Unfortunately, that's not connecting to real life people, sorry to say.
True,
I
that's
mean,
true.
I have my followers too, I have a lot of friends too, I haven't personally ever met. So we need to actually make choices, connect to the right sort of people who
Right.
are a presence, positive presence in your life, and they add value to
Value to
who
your
you
life.
are and what you're doing.
True.
So I think the true collaboration is when you find people in your maybe social media or in your real life who are actually supportive for what you are doing. For that, we need to realign and redirect our true purpose of the life. Our true purpose of life is not to live alone for ourselves. I mean,
True,
we
true.
actually forgot Allah Ta'ala hadn't created this world for competition, it's for collaboration and
Coexistence,
cooperation.
yes.
So more you get involved with real life stuff. For example, we recently have had an activity, it was a bake sale activity in our school, where children have had funds generated for the flood victims. So now that gives them a purpose, that gives them a sense of accomplishment
True.
of doing something for their community. So I think we need to help our children know their role all the more now, and find such instances, such things out in the community where they can be an active part of it. So I think this is going to reduce
But
a
is
lot
stress
of
a trickle-down effect? It probably is, because one of your essential, one of the essential parts of your career is also teachers training as well. So obviously, you know, if that top tier is stressed, it's going to come down to the teachers, then from the teachers, going to go to the students, then back home. So it's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, Ahmed, you're very right. I think this is high time, I must say it. It's very important to be emotionally intelligent as a leader. If a leader is not emotionally intelligent, that you cannot really avoid this trickling down effect. So yes, I mean, I understand the dynamics of education have changed. The kind of resources that we would fall back on have changed. We are all the more in a need of going for professional development and teacher training, and look for the ways that can assist us handle the learning needs of the children that we're dealing with. But it doesn't have to be done as a chaos. It doesn't have to be done as a stress. I think that's my true purpose of being an effective educationist. So yes, emotionally intelligent people would never have a chaotic surrounding, and they would not really take themselves to a level where the stress is so obvious and starts trickling down. So I think the patience, connecting to your own self, where you know what your true strengths are, I mean, that gives me quite a good direction for myself when I sit back and I see, okay, all right, a lot of the needs of a leader and the skill set that I probably had earlier is need to be redefined. So that sets my direction for my professional development. So I am a very thoughtful leader then. So that's how I manage my emotions and challenges as well. So I think this trickling down effect of society is very true, because I recently was studying, and this APA, which is American Psychological Association, they said that the stress level in teens is as much as you see in adults. So I mean, we need to now look at it, what is exactly going on that we see our teen being stressed out so much. So yes, it's actually what we see all around in society. Our socio-economic pressures, are changing political scenarios, are changing demands for doing something more. So this is all a trickling down effect. But right in the middle of all this, if you are one very self-aware person, and you knows your very own ways of managing your stress,
Definitely.
you not only are happy for yourself, you
But for
create
everybody
a
around
happy
you.
environment.
Happy society as well. Well, unfortunately, we're short on time, but Ms. Masara, thank you very much
Thank you
for
so
being
much
on the
for
show.
coming.
So much insight into stress management and positivity. I think this itself was a therapy session,
Right,
wasn't it?
right.
So
It's
thank you very much. And of course, this brings us to another segment that we have for you on the show today. And it's about a cause that is greater than we would have ever thought, and why didn't we understand this before is astonishing. We've got this wonderful report, Hajra. Let's take a look at this report, and then we'll introduce you to some special people as well.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Hear what she said to me.
According to World Health Organization survey in Pakistan, estimated 30 million people are living with some form of disability, but do not have enough resources to buy a wheelchair.
Niyaz is a self-sustainable social enterprise to enable the world to gift with a purpose. Our aim is to research on disability needs and offer social responsible gifts that can transform lives.
Tailoring a wheelchair to individual goals and body measurement provides them independence in the areas of self-care, transfers, driving and posture management.
एक मरीज ने टेम्परेरी व्हीलचेयर यूज करनी है लेकिन एक माजूर
A patient has to use a wheelchair on temporary basis, but a person with disability has to use it 16 to 18 hours in a day. The uncustomized wheelchairs are not according to the body structure. Hence, it dishapes the body in longer run. If I won't be able to sit properly on a wheelchair, my lungs won't be able to function properly, resulting in severe medical issues at some point or the other. An average life of a person with disability can increase by 5 years if they are provided with a proper customized wheelchair.
Specialized in producing personalized wheelchairs, our internationally certified engineers apply design and customization based on the individual's disability needs. And the cause doesn't end here. Our manufacturing unit also aspires to engage persons with disabilities in its work, hence providing them employment. Select a gift recipient from amongst the most deserving individuals verified by the registered associations of the persons with disabilities in Pakistan. Order a customized wheelchair through our secured payment gateway. We'll take care of the rest, from measurements to production, till the final delivery to the gift recipient. The chair will also be engraved with gifter's name. You receive delivery confirmation and a video clip from the gift recipient as a token of gratitude. This is not it. We believe in sustainability. Hence, you receive an impact report from us on quarterly basis to update on how these gifts are transforming lives. Log on to www.niyazsupport.org to gift with purpose.
So Ahmed, 90% companies, actually this is the report of the Harvard Business Review, which are a lot into the discourse of the disabilities, but only 4% prioritize that, right? And that is why we see that these people who are differently able, they're overlooked, they're very under-supported. Obviously, there's a lot of discourse about how we need to include them, and that is why we're missing on a lot of talent pool, right? And we see there are a lot of people who have made such a big name, but they were differently able, they have different sort of talents, right? So we need to make sure that we have a more accessible infrastructure for them, and I'm really glad that our government is doing a lot, especially when it comes to the metro station that they built. They make sure that it's very inclusive, and they were specially designed for people who are disabilities, who are differently able. And one such enterprise is there, which is a social enterprise, of course, which is there, which is looking after the needs of people who are on the wheelchairs, who cannot walk.
Absolutely. I think who would have thought that, a wheelchair needs to be customized. This is about creating a difference in society and in understanding as well. So introducing you to the guests themselves as well. First of all, we've been joined by the former head of marketing for Serena Hotels. He is now the CEO and founder of Niyaz Gift with a Purpose as well, and a very dear friend, isn't he? But a lot of insight today on the show regarding this whole project. We've been joined by none other than Mr. Hussain Udwani. Assalamu alaikum, good morning, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
How are you, sir?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining. We've also been, of course, it is the blessed day of Friday, and you need to pay Aqidat to Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatam an-Nabiyeen, and of course, you know, like we always say, reignite that soul as well inside you. We've been joined by a very honorable Naat Khan as well, Mr. Babar Ali Awan. Assalamu alaikum, Babar Sahab.
Walaikum assalam.
Babar Sahab, please, what would you like to recite?
I will recite Naat Sharif.
Yes, please.
یوں منور ہے یہ دل غارِ ہیرا ہو جیسے یوں منور ہے یہ دل غارِ ہیرا ہو جیسے اس کے اندر کوئی اس کے اندر کوئی ماہتاب رہا ہو جیسے یوں منور ہے یہ دل غارِ ہیرا ہو جیسے دل آوارہ کو بے ساختہ آیا ہے قرار دل آوارہ کو بے ساختہ آیا ہے قرار دل آوارہ کو بے ساختہ آیا ہے قرار چند گھڑیاں تیری صحبت میں رہا ہو جیسے
Jazakallah ji.
Jazakallah. Wonderful, mashallah. I think what a voice, and you know, the way you recite a naat is something astonishing that can only be gifted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think it's an ability not developed. But Hajra, Niyaz, gift with a purpose.
True, true.
What do you understand when you say gift with a purpose?
Right, so Niyaz is something which is very culturally embedded into the South Asian
Yes.
culture, right? So we often hear that Niyaz is coming from here, Niyaz is coming from our neighborhood. So this is a concept that this is very much ingrained into our culture and our society. So I would really want to introduce our guests and want to ask them what is the entire concept behind it, and would you like to please introduce us to this wonderful concept?
Sure. Actually, the basic concept is not the donations, but the gift giving. The idea of gifting with a purpose. Whenever we have occasions in our family, we usually give them like perfumes and flowers.
True.
Why not a wheelchair to a disabled person on that relative's name, you know? So this was the entire idea, to create an online platform for Pakistanis, for overseas Pakistanis, who can go on the website, look at the list, select a person, buy a wheelchair and gift him with a purpose.
Wonderful.
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 But first of all, I think it was very difficult for the society to even understand this. That,
True.
like I mentioned, for myself even, that why did we not think that, what we're doing in society right now is, and you explained it to me a day back as well, and I want the viewers to also know that giving a wheelchair which is not customized, you're adding more difficulties to the person who's also differently able.
What happened is, if we talk about us, for example, if we are sitting on this really nice sofa,
Right.
we cannot sit on this sofa for more than 2 hours. We want to stand up, we want to change our seats.
True.
Then how can we expect that disabled person to sit on that chair for 16 to 18 hours? We never ask them, are you comfortable on it? How do you feel about it? We just get a wheelchair and that person sits on it.
Be done with it.
And we are done with it. What happens is that when the wheelchair is not according to the body measurement and the disability need, so eventually we disable that person further in the next 5 years. We further disable that person because the body posture is not okay. When we see in our country, when the people are sitting on the wheelchair, the pillows are placed so that he don't fall here or he don't fall there.
Right.
So why not a customized wheelchair on which he can sit comfortably? Another part is our system. When you are not able to sit properly, the organs, the lungs are pressed,
Right.
So that creates a lot of medical issues in the future. So an average life of a disabled person can increase by 5 years if we provide them a proper customized wheelchair.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, sir, how come you came across this idea specifically about the wheelchairs?
What happened was that since Ahmed mentioned that I was part of the Urban Development Network previously, so I used to meet a lot of the different various associations, that includes the Disability Association as well. So when we talk about the natural disasters, we are passing through very difficult times for the flood victims. When we say that a lot of casualties has happened in the flood, who are those poor people? A lot of people are those who don't have a wheelchair or a basic need, and they were not able to evacuate themselves.
Escape the flood, yes.
Yeah. The families were not able to carry them with, while the evacuation was done. So these were the things that always used to, come in my mind, that what is like, why can we cannot do anything for them, when we make a disaster risk management DRM committees, okay, why not including a disabled person to speak to him that what are actually your needs when
Specifically, yes.
Yeah, when the disaster management is planned, they should be on board as the supporters rather than a victims. We always see them as a victims actually. So this is something that I always wished to do, and I feel that every person is disabled actually. Okay, someone from heart, someone from the feelings, someone from money, someone from ego.
Right.
So it's just the environment we need to create to cater that thing.
Right.
So a customized wheelchair is actually the first product on our list, and we will keep on enhancing products based on the research, and our vision is to actually transform lives through that product.
But how can we understand the timeline of this? If for people who want to understand, obviously you saw that report as well, and that can be there. You can also log on to the website, that is also there. I'll have Hussain mention it at the end as well. But the timeline, so how does it follow? For example, I'm a person who wants to gift a wheelchair, so what do I do?
The process is that we are associated with various disability associations and councils. So we get a verified list from them. We have made a website on which you can find the entire list.
Wonderful.
So you just go on the website, you select a person you want to gift, you purchase a wheelchair, and you make a payment online. We have a payment gateway through credit card and bank transfers. That's it. The order comes to us, We prepare a wheelchair based on that person's disability need and his measurement. We deliver to that person, we make a video, and we send that video to the gifter so that the gifter knows that the wheelchair has been delivered to the selected recipient. And the wheelchair is also engraved with the gifter's name, so that the receiver knows that who has actually gifted me this wheelchair. And we believe in sustainability. The major issue in the social enterprises NGOs is actually making it sustainable. So what we have done is that after 3 months, we share the impact report with the gifter, that how your gift has transformed the life. So it's much more transparent.
Right.
It's a different from, like I mentioned, it's different from the NGOs when we talk about the donations, because that is the crowdfunding.
Absolutely.
The giver, there are a lot of givers, and you exactly don't know where this money landed actually, because it's a crowd distribution. A lot of NGOs are doing a great job. But our concept was actually to create an idea of a gift giving, not a donation. You will never see on a NIA's website, we are just calling it a gifter and a gift recipient. Nothing as
Never a
contribution
donor.
or a
Never a donor or a
Wonderful.
contribution. Isn't it wonderful, Hajra?
It's wonderful. So I really wanted to ask about the scope of this project. So for example, in Pakistan, there are a lot of far-flung areas, so the remote areas where the infrastructure might not be that great. So is your project limited to particular areas or the cities? So if someone wants to go towards the far-flung areas and there is a person who is differently able and he might require your support or assistance.
Definitely.
So what is your take on that?
The overall structure is that we have DPOs in every part of Pakistan, that is the Disabled Persons Associations. Okay, so when a disabled person goes to a DPO and register himself, for a wheelchair, that list, we get that verified list from those registered associations, because getting the names directly, we won't be able to reach every corner.
Okay.
So what we do is we collaborate with those associations, they provide us the list, we make a wheelchair, we deliver it to the association.
Okay.
And the association then goes with our team who takes a video and deliver it to the gift recipient.
So it's completely documented as well.
It's completely documented that the list is verified, the delivery has been made through the video, the payment channel is proper, no cash involvement.
But there's another very important factor, Hajra. You'll be intrigued to know about that, and I want to mention this, that number one, the wheelchairs are being, of course, developed in Pakistan. Whatever is done in Pakistan. You shared that, but there's another part of this: the workforce that is working.
The workforce, I personally feel that if, for example, God forbid, if I am passing through COVID, I can feel what this actually is, when the other person gets affected, only I can feel that what is that person passing through.
Empathize,
So what we have done is that we have made a model that the employment is given to a disabled people. We have trained them, and they are part of this manufacturing unit who are preparing the wheelchairs. So we are also providing employment through this gift giving.
Wonderful.
And when that person is making a wheelchair, he exactly knows that what is actually required, how to customize it. And if we talk about the experts, so we have there is a company, Sakura Japan, that is specialized in customized wheelchairs. So we have 2 certified professionals on our team who are certified from Japan, who are actually designing these wheelchairs.
Wonderful.
And apart from that, I would like to add that once the gift is given,
Right.
then comes the maintenance part, because the roads are not okay.
Servicing,
and,
yes.
Servicing and all.
Right.
So NIAS as a CSR initiative themselves is providing free maintenance for everybody.
Wonderful. So before we wind up the segment, I want you to give message. What do you want to say to our audience?
And how they can link up with NIAS as well.
People can go to www.niazsupport.org. That's the website. It's open for everyone, Pakistanis, overseas Pakistanis. We have like less than millions. If we talk about Pakistan, according to WHO, 30 million people are disabled in our country, you know. So we have like list of hundreds and thousands people. So even one contribution can make can change, actually transform a life of any person. So I would like, from your platform, I would just like to request everyone to go on this website, select a person, gift a wheel, and see how you can transform a life.
Definitely. Hussain, thank you very much for being on the
Thank you
show.
so
It was
much.
truly,
Right.
you know, very insightful, and we have all the prayers and support for Niaz, and
Ameen.
inshallah
Thank you
we
so much.
hope that it
Right.
spreads as much as it can with those product line as well, inshallah.
Thank
Thank you very much for being on the show, and of course that wraps up the show. But before me and Hajra go, we always like to tell you that be responsible citizens,
True.
spread positivity, and you know, spread hope. Hope is the need of the hour. And of course, from me, Hajra, and our entire team, it will be goodbye for now. But of course, it's a blessed day of Friday with a naat from Mr. Babar Ali Awan.
جتنا دیا سرکار نے مجھ کو، جتنا دیا سرکار نے مجھ کو، اتنی میری اوقات نہیں، یہ تو کرم ہے ان کا، ورنہ مجھ میں تو ایسی بات نہیں، جتنا دیا سرکار نے مجھ کو۔ ذکر نبی میں جو دن گزرے، وہ دن سب سے بہتر ہے، ذکر نبی میں جو دن گزرے، وہ دن سب سے بہتر ہے، یاد نبی میں رات جو گزرے، اس سے بہتر رات نہیں، جتنا دیا سرکار نے مجھ کو۔